Hey, if you need a job, then the UK is a good place to find one because there are nearly 1 million job vacancies right now in the UK. And they've hit a record high, in fact, as the labour market and the economy bounces back, according to official figures from the ONS, the Office for National Statistics. Unemployment rate is now at 4.7% up to June, and annual growth in pay is now reaching 7.5%, which could have signs for inflationary pressures. As you know, we've seen prices go up in the shops. Well, if wages are going up, then prices will inevitably rise on the back of that, although the Bank of England said these are temporary situations. And you've even got firms like Amazon and Tesco's offering £1,000 signing on bonus just to come and work in one of their warehouses in certain areas. That's amazing that they have to pay somebody to come and take a job £1,000 as a bonus. And the other story today is that Amazon are offering £50 extra pay per week just for turning up on time to work. Can you believe that? You expect that anyway. You expect employees to come on time. But if you do 100%, if you reach 100% attendance record at some of Amazon's warehouses, then you will get a £50 per week bonus. That's not too bad, is it? And they recently advertised that new starters who start work before the 18th of September, so you haven't got much time, would receive a £1,000 golden hello fee. And you know, we know from last week that there's a shortage of HGV drivers, these heavy goods vehicle drivers, that's threatening to empty the shelves by Christmas, supposedly. I mean, you know, there was still stuff being delivered last year during the lockdown. So where did this shortage just suddenly appear from? I don't understand it, because yeah, we had shortages last year, but that was because everyone was panic buying, not because there wasn't enough goods to go around. So I'd be surprised if we don't get our turkeys this Christmas. I wouldn't worry too much about it. But there definitely is a shortage, and it costs something like £7,000 and maybe 6 to 9 months to become a driver. So it's not that easy. So it's going to take time. But apparently a lot of EU workers have gone home, don't want to come back. There's visa issues for them. There's other issues. Or maybe they can get better work pay and conditions in other countries. Maybe Germany's offering them better deals. I really don't know. But because we're out of the European Union now, then European workers need to apply for visas to come and work here. And we also know that nurses and care staff are again in short supply. I think they've always been in short supply. I was in the business of recruiting nurses and carers back in the early 2000s, and it was a bad situation then. It's just as bad now, really. I think there's something like 168,000 job vacancies advertised on the NHS, which is the National Health Service, but that doesn't include the thousands of care homes that are even more desperate for staff, and domiciliary care agencies that need care workers, and of course private hospitals. So there's a massive shortage, and what the hospitals do, they have to then pay agency staff to fill in the gaps, which then cost the government or the taxpayer, you and me, even more money. So this is the place to find a job. Now, obviously, these figures of growth contrast with last year's deep recession, which was one of the worst recessions we've ever had on record, when unemployment, was rising up to nearly 10%. The economy had dropped by 10%. Job vacancies were well, less than half of what they are now, and millions of people were on the job government-funded furlough scheme. That's the job retention scheme. Some people are still coming out of that, and that was where the taxpayer was paying 80% of their wages just to keep them in work. Will unemployment rise again when this scheme, finally sort of filters out? We don't know. There's on one hand there's job vacancies, but on the other hand there's 1.5 million people unemployed, and nearly 5 million people who claim some sort of universal credit benefit. So the economy is rebounding, sure, but not yet back to pre-pandemic levels. The government has printed billions to stave off what would have been a disastrous crash in the economy and maybe economic collapse or long-term depression. So they've managed to avoid that, but we've got to pay this money back at some stage through higher taxes. And we've unprecedented debt levels at the moment, which are near 100% of our GDP, our sort of gross domestic product output. So in June, there were 1.6 million people unemployed, And as I said, millions more people claim universal credit, which is a type of benefit that you can get whether you're unemployed or you're only working part-time, or you're a single mum, or blah, 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 or whatever it is. And then there are people who are on the sickness and disability benefit as well. So, there's a big drain on the economy, in other words, that other countries in the Asian tiger economies don't have that issue. So that's just a bit of an economic roundup for you today in the UK. There certainly are jobs here, but I wouldn't bank on getting visas for the types of jobs that are needed. You're not going to get a visa or work permit for a warehouse person or driving a forklift truck. You would get a work permit for professional jobs like nursing and scientific jobs and doctors and that sort of thing, but not as what they would call lower skilled work. So you can't just bring in labour from outside the EU or even in the EU now. So it's if you're watching this and you're in India or the Philippines and you say, I want to apply for that job, then the chances are you won't be able to unless you have a sort of graduate level or above graduate level type of qualification and experience, and you're applying for that kind of job that is on the skills shortage list. And you can Google that. You can Google the skills shortage or the job shortage, the official job shortage list in the UK, the government shortage occupations list. You can Google that and see if you fit into that category. Otherwise, forget it. You can still come here in the UK as an investor, but you need a lot of money. So in terms of the borders are pretty tight at the moment in terms of managed migration and economic migration, but that could change as new jobs come up. So the other thing I just wanted to point out to you is that if you want to stop wasting time on social media and start making money, click on the link below. There's a free webinar which will take you through how to start making money on social media instead of just spending time and money on social media. It's by a guy called Paul O'Mahony. He's one of my mentors. And instead of having to read this book, which is hundreds of pages, you can just watch the movie, as it were, watch the webinar, and he'll explain how it all works. So have a look at that. Just click on that. You can watch it straight away, and wish you luck with that. So thanks for listening, and have a great day, have a great evening wherever you are in the world. Thanks a lot. Thanks for following me. Bye-bye.